Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy CL Anthony and my main men this morning. We have Bryce Ward. Oh goodness, this is gonna be rough. We have Bryce Ward. We have Michael France, and we have Joshua Sanders.
What's going on?
Back.
Great timing, Josh. Great timing.
Yeah, I was working the computer deal. Then Mike texted me, and I was like, I'm trying to get in there.
Well, I appreciate you guys being able to run it back with us this morning because we had some interesting interesting stuff happen this week.
Oh yeah.
So we definitely want to get into it. Bryce, how's your week, brother?
It was good, man. Just work and seeing some comments online. It's pretty interesting.
Got it. So before we get started, because my screen share is not working with my camera angles right now, can you guys see the screen share at all or no?
No, it's just us four right now.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we will do.
There we go.
What about now? There we go.
There we
Okay,
go.
so we are gonna get into this, and I'm actually gonna start with Bryce. Bryce, how shocked are you that we got comments based on something that you actually predicted would happen as far as our commentary on the Brittney Griner situation? So how shocked are you that it happened?
I was a little surprised because I don't really think people listen to us and take us all that seriously, to be honest with you. So that's a little new for me. We're not that big yet, so I thought that was hilarious. I'm not surprised that someone was upset though, because, like I said, that's out there. And for that guy to get upset meant there's something that touched home for him specifically. And that he called you a blackie. Oh my god. I couldn't believe that shit. I couldn't believe that shit.
I could.
I can.
You see his face? This is no fucks given, right? For what anybody says about me. Joshua, I'm gonna throw it to you. How shocked were you with some of the feedback that we received?
Not at all. Not at all shocked. I know the internet. Internet is a crazy place, man. They were waiting for that. You say anything political against anybody's views, and they will arm up in, digital guns. So, it's just the name of the game. That's just the way it goes. You say something that someone else disagrees with, they're gonna hide behind the screen and say, whatever they feel they can't say that they couldn't say in public. That's the way it goes, man. I don't. That's not even that offensive. That's not even the worst thing I've heard. Like blackies, like you couldn't come better than that, or the guideline probably kept you in some sort of whatever. I don't know. I felt that was a little uncreative. I felt like they could have came a little bit harder than that, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
like it was some old dude.
Before I throw it to you, Mike, I want everybody to know Joshua has not had the pleasure to do a podcast with Kevin yet. I begged and pleaded with Kevin to have him on today, but he had a family trip he was going on, so Kevin could not be on. So my first attack dog couldn't help us out today, but I'm about to unleash my second attack dog, Michael.
All right.
Let's get into it.
All right. So if anybody noticed that's watching this, I was in there responding to some of these people, right? And I usually try and take a high road with it as much as possible, but I do like to push buttons. And the most ridiculous response that we got was literally right there. And it's the one that we've been talking about. It says, damn, blackies are the most racist people on earth. For one, okay, so in my response, John Doe, if you're going to say something like that, show who you are. Don't hide behind an anonymous fucking name, you pussy. But period. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. If you're gonna say something, own it. Be who you are, right? And that's what I said in there. So I apologize for the language there, but that shit just pisses me off sometimes. But when you've got something like that, it contradicts. It's a contradictive statement. Damn, blackies are the most racist people on earth. Well, for one, you know what? You saying something like that kind of flips that and makes you the racist person. That's what's funny about that type of shit. As far as some of the responses, we had a couple of good ones. Like, I mean, that were decent, but you did see a couple of the ones that were not necessarily called for. It kind of shows that closed-mindedness. So the things that Bryce was kind of calling out, It's right there in front of us, and all we did is just present information that we have found. That's all we did. We have nothing to do with the situation. So why does it have to go that far with the needle on either side? That's the funny thing for me when it comes to this. So media pokes the bear. And a lot of times we do it just so we can go ahead and get that response. Like that's the funny thing. No publicity is bad publicity. So hey, say what you're going to say. You might as well own it because guess what? We got the view and the response, period, regardless.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you're helping us out, period.
Got a couple subscribers out of there, a couple likes. Show got pushed down a little bit more. So you didn't do anything but help.
Exactly. So you might as well own who you are. Put your name out there. And you know what? I'll challenge that person. Whoever that John Doe is person, respond to me. Let's have a conversation.
Hey, Mike, tell them to meet you in Temecula. Remember that?
You can say that.
That's the throwback right there.
Yeah.
Josh, before we move on real quick, I want you to shout out Doubted Views.
Yes, sir. So, like always, I know this week we're a little bit low, but you can catch me and Mike on Finance Fridays. You can catch the whole crew on Mondays. We got some new stuff coming Wednesday, but Doubted Views, we got pretty much headlines, finance, sometimes sports, entertainment. We pretty much talk it all, man. So you can show up and show out.
I caught you guys live the other day, and I was watching for like 10 minutes or so, and it was like definitely appealing. Like I was sitting there watching it, and I have interest in this shit anyway, and so listening to you guys talking about it, like bring the energy and just the knowledge, it was really good. So yeah, you guys keep that shit going. It was impressive, I thought.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you much.
Thank you. Appreciate you liked it.
All right. So, Bryce, we're going to put a cap on this segment. Was there any last thoughts you have on the truth that you dropped last week and then the responses that we got?
I just think it's funny. Like, people people really jump the gun, man. Like if you watch that video, none of us said anything outrageous. We just brought what we thought was happening in like pretty moderate opinion. I thought like pretty like nothing extreme. And then it's just the fact that for some people the politics and the race is so polarizing that they can't help themselves. So I just, like I said, we didn't say anything crazy, and the people that have a problem with it, they seem to be the problem. So people really need to take a look at themselves before they start getting online and commenting.
I also keep in mind that there's internet trolls out there. That could have been a whole goal for that individual is to rile something up or whatever it may be. But regardless, like I said, thanks for the view.
Yeah, help the channel.
All right. We had a good week, to say the least. We had a really good week.
It was fun.
Hey, as always, please like, subscribe, and share our content.
Oh, they probably will. They did. They'll probably keep doing it.
Oh, yep. Yeah. So we had a Brittney Griner update this week. So I'm going to let Mike and Joshua kind of get into that a little bit. Fellas, what do you think about what we saw as far as Biden offering this package and then Russia countering the package?
Josh, you want to touch that first?
Well, I'm going to say, I said it in Texas this week. I was like, yo, Biden is showing some of these GMs how to get a trade done. But then actually, now that we got the update going, I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. Looks like Russia's trying to – okay, so what I think is going on here, because now they're not going for citizens like regular, like Brittney Griner is an athlete, right? They're not saying, yeah, we want, another citizen that y'all got over there, that's just in the same deal. No. The arms dealer was the first one. And now they want, hold on, wait, I'm going to get this right. So the Russian government requested former colonel from the country's domestic spy agency who was convicted of a murder in Germany, right? Yep. Victor Bout. This is like, so no, that was the arms dealer. I'm sorry.
That was the arms dealer.
Yeah. So they're not asking for citizens. So I feel like Russia is playing off of the whole like bring her home tour, and they're really milking it. Like they're like, oh yeah, your people really want it back. So yeah, give us the spy back. Now they're putting Biden in a position like, whoa, hold on, so now he may be getting finessed out of this thing. I don't know, man. It's looking real bad. It's looking real bad now because now he's like hard pressed to get her back. and Russia just keeps throwing in extra clauses in the trade. Like, nah, we want so and so.
Right.
Nah, we want so and so. Yeah, you gotta make that happen. And like I said, these are not normal people. These are like spies. These are actually
right. Right.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, that shows trade value, I guess. I mean, shit. If you need a previous spy, and you need a convicted murderer, weapons dealer. Like, come on now, like that's high trade value. Like, oh
I think Putin asked the Nets how to do trades, and they're like, let's just ask for everything.
Hey, you might as well. You know what? When you have the negotiating power, you might as well use it as much as possible. So good point. Like, I agree. Like, the MLB trade deadline is coming up, right, on August 2nd. Everybody wants to know where Juan Soto's going. That took a backseat because now we want to see, okay, what's happening with Brittney Griner, and is she being traded for two dangerous individuals, right? Although I will tell you this. This is a good opportunity. The side name in this though is Paul Whelan. He's been held captive in Russia for quite some time, and this is an opportunity for us to get him back as well. But I can tell you, neither him nor Brittney Griner, I don't think, as far as what they can mean to that trade, means more than Victor Bout and the other individual that was involved. Like, we're kind of like saying, yeah, here's your opportunity to go ahead and just plan an attack with us if you want. You really think that Victor Bout isn't going to want to do anything? Like, we've been holding him captive for a little while here. Like, come on now, guys. Wow. Like, this is it could get dangerous. It could get dangerous.
Yeah. Thank you for that update. And Bryce, thank you for the Nets reference. Because it seems like they are holding us hostage for multiple draft picks and everything else, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Speaking of the Brooklyn Nets, I want to deep dive into them, kind of, but it's more so in the Boston Celtics. So I'm going to throw this to Bryce first because we talked about this offline earlier in the week. I was totally against Boston offering Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart for Kevin Durant. So I'm going to throw it to Bryce first, then I'm going to throw it to you guys. Bryce, do you think it was a smart move by the Celtics to make it open that they're willing to get rid of Jaylen Brown, actually for the second time in the calendar year?
Definitely not. They went so far last year without making any major changes this offseason. And I thought we thought they would probably just run it back the same way. They're fairly young, the natural just evolution of those players in that team, they had a good chance to make it over the hump. So it didn't really make a lot of sense to me to like really mess with that equation right now. And then they hear the rumor, or I guess, the aftermath of a failed trade attempt. You hear trying to get rid of Jaylen Brown, who arguably outplayed their star during the finals. And then you have Marcus Smart, who is their locker room leader, who, without him reaching out and having that early player meeting in the season, they might not have been there to begin with. So you're going to get rid of your probably your biggest locker room presence and your number two guy, who arguably gives your number one guy a run for his money, and who did outperform him in the playoffs. You're gonna offer up both those guys for, in my eyes, a possible question mark, a problem, because where does Kevin Durant ever stick? Nowhere. And apparently he doesn't guarantee you any kind of finals appearance because he couldn't take them there this year. I mean, you just swept them, and you're going to trade. Like, the idea that, like, the chemistry of the team isn't important on these high-end teams, I don't know how it can just be ignored. And that's all they did to me, is, like, they just blew up that chemistry. Everything they built for this whole season, they flushed down the toilet. Now I'm not so sure they make it back in the same way. They're going to have to overcome some hurdles, and I just don't get it. And now Brad Stevens, he's the one in charge of that. He's the one that coached these guys and brought them up, and now he's in charge of moving them. I don't know how the players respond to that as well, if they start losing some confidence in that organization. If you're not Jason Tatum, anyways. I thought it was a bad look. I didn't agree with it. I mean, I know everybody sees Kevin Durant as like a golden goose. I'm not sure if he's that. And if you get rid of all, like, Jaylen Brown and Smart off the Celtics, there's not the same team. I'm not sure if Kevin Durant makes up all of that. So I thought it was kind of foolish. I didn't like it.
Got it. Joshua, what do you got?
Wow, man, he really wrapped that one up very nicely there, Bryce. But yeah. So here's my deal, right? You can't, and I think I really like the fact that you brought up the fact that Jaylen Brown definitely outplayed Jason Tatum, right? You have a young core there, and we know how the Celtics are. We know that they like to move players like the Patriots, right? We know they don't care about them over there, and it doesn't matter what they do, they're gonna try to move them regardless, right? My thing is this, like, this is the second time you've done that to him now. It's not like the first time where, there was just an opportunity. And their whole deal was like, at this point, you're just trying to sell tickets off the names at this point because you guys were there. They got to the finals. They just probably needed one more solid veteran piece because Jason Tatum was, because you just couldn't do it alone. And that's a big moment to really be in. And I think that was his first. Or yes, because he didn't get there the last time. So
it was his first.
Yeah, so essentially, like, you can't. I just felt like it was really bad chemistry wise. Marcus Smart being your clear and obvious leader, you not came off a team. There is no leadership. Here's my deal with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant comes in there, and he's gonna think I'm Kevin Durant. So nobody can tell the man shit. So if he goes in there and screws up or whatever, it doesn't bring into practice or doesn't bring the level of intensity they need, nobody can tell him shit because I'm Kevin Durant. So Tatum's not gonna do it. He's too young. Jaylen Brown, he's more vocal, and I think he would be the guy to do it. And Marcus, like, the two guys I would even call him out are the two that you talk about trading him. So there's no one that's gonna be there to control him. So and maybe Al Horford, but Al Horford is 55. So what is he gonna do? Like, I mean, there's no, like, even the new coach, he's not gonna be able to tell them shit. So nobody's gonna be able to control this guy. He's just gonna get there, screw your roster over. Chemistry's gonna fall through. He's gonna go bounce to the next team and try to win another title. And you were only one piece away from that. A veteran, like, you could have went anywhere and got that. That's just,
I can before I throw it to Mike, I can make the argument that they got their veteran piece in Brogdon in the offseason. And then also Gallinari to solidify that bench. So I'm gonna hold that thought because I got some stuff to drop here. All right, Mike, take it away.
All right, so I'm going to take two different angles on this. I'm going to take a Kevin Durant angle, and I'm going to take a Boston Celtics angle on this. The first things first is that if for me, when I look at Kevin Durant, all right, this is going to sound weird, but to me, it's a good analogy. If the U.S. inflation was a person, it would be Kevin Durant. Okay,
I like the where this is going.
All right. If the U.S. inflation rate is a person, it's Kevin Durant. And the reason I say that is because I believe, based on resume, now this does not take away from anything that he does on the court, right? He is a great scorer, and I think we talked about this beforehand on the last one, where we're like, there's certain holes in the game that just they won't fill in with the scoring part, and that's the leadership side, right? That we're sitting here talking about why Marcus Smart shouldn't be labeled in that deal at all, right? Jaylen Brown played very well in the playoffs, and not just that, but you have a young team that's still building on their own camaraderie, their own chemistry. And yeah, that just possibly could have thrown a whole wrench in that socket now. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. But what are you getting when you get Kevin Durant? If you look at the rest of the team, there's not enough for Kevin Durant to get himself another ring, and not enough for him to be who we expect him to be. But I always kind of say it's the team that kind of builds him up to what we see, right? Golden State was great, right? But that was great because of those other guys. He was just a walkover. Like, I wish people would understand that. And that's why I say he's got the softest rings in NBA history, right? And that also goes towards my comment, right? As far as the Boston side goes, now, if I'm not mistaken, Udoka came from San Antonio, correct?
That he was there the most, but he bounced around as an assistant a couple of times.
But regardless, when you go to San Antonio, if you take things away from Greg Popovich and that system, what could have been taken away from that is build on your own way, right? The San Antonio Spurs were pretty much built. They drafted Tony Parker. They brought in Ginobili, right? They drafted Tim Duncan. Those were players that were built within that system. And Udoka could have brought that same type of mentality over to Boston, and then you throw a wrench into that with, we're going to go ahead and break this up for Kevin Durant, right? That chemistry is very important. And if you have that same mentality that was over in San Antonio, how often did we see San Antonio offer up players for superstars? We never did. They built within their own system, right? Boston, what are you doing? Brad Stevens is up there, and they moved him up into the GM role and out of the head coaching job because it just wasn't something that he could handle anymore. Well, I'm curious if he could really handle the GM side of it now too, because if this is what you're going to do, you may have already failed, and now you can expect to set your team back a few steps. Even with Kevin Durant, you're giving up way too much. And that chemistry could always be – it could all be broken up, and that's going to be a reset. They're hitting the reset button already. And I wouldn't like that. I think that they should stick with what they got, build through your own system, right? Like you said, the pieces, Malcolm Brogdon, Danilo Gallinari moving over. All you need are small pieces. You don't need a massive piece. You've already got that.
Right. It's it's so much disrespect. And if we look at the totality of this, if we look at the totality of the Celtics season last year, yes, it ended up in the finals, losing to Golden State. But they were floundering for the majority of the first half of last season. They were even out of the play-in January. They were like seeded 11th, okay? Marcus Smart is the one that turned that season around when he called the locker room out on the internal bullshit that was going on. The thing the Celtics have to fix, which they're trying to run away from, and I'll make the connection in a minute. They have to fix the fact that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown do not play off of each other well. They take turns on offense, and that's not how you do it. All they need to do is look at how Dwayne Wade and LeBron James played well off of each other and use that as a prototype on how to fix the Celtics. So I think the front office knows and sees what I see as far as, okay, they can't play well together. We need to move one. That's not how you do that. You have to force the action. And that's what the coach needs to do. You have to make those guys learn how to play off of each other. And they will be so much more deadly if that was the case. Jason Tatum was gassed in the finals. I get it. Jaylen Brown was consistent throughout. But there is no way on God's green earth you give up Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, two youthful, athletic dogs, for the pussy that is Kevin Durant. You do not do that, okay? You don't. And if I'm Jaylen Brown, he did tweet shaking my head. He should have been like, what the fuck is going on? Because for the duration of the season, right, we've heard this behind the scenes for the duration of the season. They prematurely crowned Jason Tatum as the next guy. Giannis is still around. Mike's boy is still around. Why the hell is it Jason Tatum, right? So Jaylen Brown has to look at that every fucking day and say, I'm just not appreciated here. And the Celtics have no one to blame but themselves. It is ludicrous. It is stupid. You do not trade youth for someone who's 34 years old and on the tail end of his career. As I always say, he can give you 35, but that's it.
Yeah.
And lately he's been giving you 30 and half a season because the last 3 years he's only played a total of 83 games. So I don't know what the fuck Brad Stevens is smoking. But if I'm Jaylen Brown, I'm like, I might want to get the fuck out of here if that's going to be your golden boy over there. Man, I don't know what the fuck is going on in Boston because I'm surprised Marcus Smart hasn't came out and said anything.
Yeah, he's probably
with the contributions. Yeah, with the contributions that I'm telling you, he turned that entire season around last year. Just by him calling out the bullshit.
I'll say that coming into the NBA out of Oklahoma State, I loved Marcus Smart. If I'm not mistaken, he was Big 12 Player of the Year that year as well.
Yeah,
the man was a dog, like you say, CL, and everywhere. Like he goes and he's got heart. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just can't replace that. And that's one thing. If you're
Right.
soft, you probably don't have a heart. And we know Kevin Durant doesn't probably have a heart. He's a scarecrow for fucking the Wizard of Oz, right? So
There's only a few players that can bring in energy like that, man.
right.
Right.
So
Look.
I mean, when I'm looking at this, I'm like, you guys are ruining the chemistry, and that's all I see is chemistry.
It's gone. It's gone now. I'm going to throw you guys a curveball because we have a little extra time here today. What do you guys, and I'm going to start with Bryce, what do you think about the Pelicans inserting a weight limit clause in Zion Williamson's contract?
They should have started this years ago. Maybe they'd have some more wins by now. No, you know, we talked a lot about Zion the last couple of years and how, you know, we knew he had to get that weight down. The injuries were piling up. I mean, and especially this last year, just missing everything. Like you can't have that, not with that talent that young. So I just think it's nice to see the organization having a little accountability on their number one star. I think that's fair, you know. And on paper, I mean, look what they did last year without him. After getting McCollum, you know, they kind of they had some inspirational basketball for a while there. And so you throw on Zion, and with how young that team is, you have to see the potential there. And if I was a Pelicans fan, I'd be super excited. But it all depends on how far Zion can take you. It's like the team's really talented. McCollum's a star, and Ingram's a star. But to get over that real hump, to be a real threat for a title, I think Zion has to be healthy. And so I like it. I like the accountability. You know, the Heat have a reputation for always having that a weight restriction thing, which somehow Kyle Lowry paid to get out of.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But besides that, I like it a lot. The Pelicans look super exciting. If you're a fan, you have to be just waiting for this season and hoping Zion can stay healthy. It's like, as a Magic fan, all I hope for is just for my players to be healthy, especially when you have a star like Zion. So, looking at it from a Pelicans fan's perspective, I don't know the last time I would have been this excited to see this team come out and play, because Zion he could be really special. He just has to do the right things to keep his body healthy. And for his size, not being super tall, he has to keep that weight down to keep that explosiveness. I mean, that's what makes him is the ability to move the way he can move. And so I love to see it. Just like as a basketball fan, you want to see these guys on the court, whether you like them, you like the team, whatever. You still want to see the talent play. So the more Zion's on the court, the better for Pelicans, for basketball, for everybody. So yeah, I'm excited, and I think it's the right move if you're the Pelicans.
How you feel about it, Josh?
It's kind of funny, and the Kyle Lowry thing, I just so over that situation. But anyway,
we're not doing it.
Whatever. So looking at the two biggest contracts on the Pelicans right now, it's Brandon Ingram and Brandon Ingram and CJ. So right now, they have a good young core here. They have something going here. But yeah, I knew they should have structured that deal somewhere. When he blew his shoe out in that college game, I was like, yeah, there's no way that man just blew through a modern day Nike shoe like that at all. So it's
were those made by the Ball family? I wasn't sure.
We're not doing that either. No.
Anyways, yeah, LeVar's been quiet as of late, but we'll leave that alone. So yeah, I think it's a good move. I think because you need to get something out of him. The man was really close to being one of the biggest busts in NBA history ever. Like, they were talking about this man like he was about to be the next LeBron. And he couldn't stay on the floor. Yeah, he played all right, but just the overall whole arrival of it was a little underwhelming. I mean, LaMelo took it and ran with it, and now he's the next upcoming poster child of the NBA as everybody's putting him, right? So I think this is a great way for him to kind of keep accountable. Like, there was no one that really kept the man accountable, because as you come in with all these accolades and expectations, I wouldn't even say accolades lightly, but when you come in with all the expectations that you're the guy and we're trusting in you, there's a certain bit of you know what I'm saying? There's a certain bit of Kevin Durant that comes with that. You feel like nobody can tell you shit. And what happens is now they're actually in the point where like, no, you got to get this together or it's over with. So real close to the whole NBA bust deal. I think Anthony Bennett still holds that, but I think there's a solid future for him here if he can, keep the weight. But however, now we know the NBA, he's not that tall, and you don't want to drop the weight too much because you do need some of that bang bang to be in the middle down there. And you got Jackson Hayes down there, and I like him a lot. But if they're gonna play that style where they're gonna keep going to him and he's just gonna bounce off the ground and just do his thing because he don't shoot like that unless it's like a standstill, like a catch and shoot kind of deal. So. And the man can dribble a little bit, but it's not really to the point where he's playmaking. So there's a couple assets of the game that if he's gonna like keep that weight down, he needs to pick up other skill sets to kind of be able to play that. But if you're gonna stay down there, then don't drop it so much because he's gonna get moved around. There's other guys down there that like to move around people in the middle. You got Jokic, Embiid. All these guys are huge. Like, and Jackson Hayes ain't going to be able to do it all himself. So if you're going to keep going through him, he's going to have to play offense and defense. And he's going to need some of that weight. So I like the whole deal of keeping it down just for the accountability deal because you need to be in shape, but not too much because he's going to need that weight.
You got it. Mike?
So, I mean, are we forgetting that Jonas Valanciunas is there for one?
Yes.
I did. I forgot.
Yes.
Great in the playoffs.
He was okay in Memphis.
Yeah, he's good.
Bro, no, he's good.
I hate him. I'm sorry. I'm biased. I don't like him. I'm sorry.
Don't do that. Don't do that. He's better than Jackson Hayes. All right.
Whoa. Jackson Hayes is the future because I'm a fan too.
He's the future.
I'm not saying he's not the future.
He's good.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's not the future, but as of right now, Jonas Valanciunas is better than Jackson Hayes. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, all right. I have a problem with the player side on some of these right now. And the reason being is being out here in Arizona. I'm going to flip this to a little bit of a different sport when we go for the football because guess what? Kyler Murray had something just like that within his contract, right? Where he had to view he had to do film for longer than 4 hours at a time, right? Because he's not studying. And I like this from the team perspective because they are protecting themselves. Yes, is New Orleans way late on this? Absolutely. It should have been from minute one. Now, as far as keeping him underweight, right? Nobody can beat genetics, right? The man is just a big boy. So really, how much weight are we going to see that he can lose? 5, 10, 15 pounds? The man needs to lose a lot more than that, right? He needs to lose a lot more than that. And the man can't. Out of 3 years in the NBA, he's only played 81 games.
Yeah.
That's 224 plus games. And he's only played 81. What really makes people think that he's going? I've said this. His career is going to be over in 5 years. And they just gave him a contract extension of $200 million. So if you ask me, like I think David Griffin is a great GM. I think he did a lot with a little when he was in Cleveland and was able to bring LeBron back. LeBron, I think, wanted that. There's a whole, fan base thing that was also part of it. Making up for
No. We're not doing that.
I'm making up for the decision, right? Which I think was stupid. I didn't think there was anything wrong with that, but there's a lot that LeBron felt that there was a hole for that he needed to fill, right? But David Griffin was able to make it work. David Griffin did a lot over in Cleveland, but I think right now with this situation with the contract, I personally would have shopped Zion, to be real with you.
Wow. Okay.
I would have shopped Zion. I don't think Zion is going to be in the NBA that long. I really don't.
But a lot of people have said.
Yeah, guess who comes to mind? For me, I don't know if you remember this guy, Oliver Miller.
Oh God, yes.
Okay,
made himself out the league. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
The man was under a weight restriction in Phoenix, and
yeah.
he lost a lot of weight. And he was a big piece of our team out here through the early 90s, right, when they went to the finals. Everybody knew the Big O, right? And he's actually the reason why Kevin Johnson's career ended. But because they I don't know if you guys heard this story. It's kind of funny. They were in practice one day and somebody bet that Kevin Johnson couldn't pick up Oliver Miller, and when he picked him up, he actually had the hernia that ruined his career.
Wow.
But look at what happened with Oliver Miller, right? That's called genetics, guys. Look, I am a big guy myself. I've been in the gym. I know what needs to happen. I know, but there's something. Will I ever be at 180, 170? No. My body frame will not allow that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be a weight limit that I can bring myself down to. Same thing with him, guys. Like, I don't know why they think that they can, fight genetics, because the guy all he's going to do is get heavier as his age progresses. It's a good thing he's only 24 years old, 23 years old.
I think he's listed right now, which we know he was heavier during the season when he was playing. He's listed at 285. I've always said he needs to lose about 20 pounds. I agree with Josh. He doesn't need to lose all the weight, but I think he needs to lose at least 20 pounds. He's 6'7". A similar prototype for him would be Charles Barkley, who was Oliver Miller's mentor in Phoenix, by the way, Mike.
Yeah.
Because Charles was heavy.
Yeah.
And Charles wasn't getting playing time in his rookie year. He went to Moses Malone like, "Well, I'm not playing," and Moses told him because he's too fat. And then Charles slimmed down and started playing more. So that's the ideal weight, because Charles's best weight was around 260. And I think Zion could play 265, 270 max. But 285 or higher, as explosive as he is, going up isn't a problem. It's coming down. The impact coming down. Right.
Yeah,
and that's where you have
absolutely.
That's where you have those lower leg injuries. So I've always said he needs to lose. I don't know what the weight limit is that they put on him, but he needs to lose at least 15 to 20 pounds. And then he may be able to have a sustainable NBA career going forward. But genetics is a part of it. But let's be real. I'm a big boy too. I like to eat. There are some things that you can do to kind of, go on a low carb diet, shit like that. So I know he has a nutritionist and a cook. So hopefully we see the best version of Zion starting this year. You got anything else on that, Bryce?
I know Mike brought up a good point. It's like, how many good years can you get out of him? And it's like, it's kind of New Orleans crazy for giving him such a big contract and trying to, keep him the way they are. It's hard. It's like, once you've drafted him, you can almost be forced into the situation as a GM just from the optics. It seems like there's a premium on big men right now because the league has shifted into the smaller 3-point shooting kind of realm, to where even you want the centers, you want your power forwards to be able to drift out to the 3-point line and hit threes. So it's like there seems to be an extra premium, more so than ever, on having a great big man. And so I feel like the GM just had some bad luck in getting the number 1 pick at the time and having to keep him, because I think a lot of it is optics. You have to, if you didn't keep him, if you were to get rid of him and then he did become something, you look like a disaster of a situation. Mm-hmm. And so it's I feel like a lot of these guys get the benefit of the doubt more so at this point, because there's not a Shaq right now. There's not some big man that's just wrecking everything. And so everybody's trying to find the next big man. And even though he's not the tallest or whatever, he's so explosive, he's so exciting. The fan base loves him. He's the number 1 pick. You kind of have to gamble on it, because if you don't and you let it go, you look so foolish. So it's I almost feel like the GM is in it's a good problem to have, because Zion is talented, but it's like a ticking time bomb. How long do you get him? How long do you get his talent? And you paying all this money, and like you said, he's only been on the court for 80 some games out of the 200 and something that's possible. So I just think it's I wouldn't want to be in that position, even though it's it's kind of a good problem to have compared to no talent. But I don't feel I feel sorry for that GM, because I would not want to be in that position and have to make that decision, because there's not a good lot of ways it could go for you.
I agree. David Griffin's in a bad spot with this. Now, maybe not before, but now it's in a bad spot.
Yeah. You got to live by it or die by it at this point.
Exactly.
I
Well,
would
look,
say
the
this.
good.
I caught myself. Sorry, see, I didn't mean to cut you off again. My bad.
No, you good.
I caught myself watching the ESPN 30 for 30 yesterday, and it was this magic moment.
Oh
The
God. Oh God.
the Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway one, right? If
Mhm.
if anybody is expecting a Shaquille O'Neal to come out of the draft anytime soon, you're dead wrong. You're dead wrong. That was a once in a lifetime type individual.
Look at LeBron
I
James, like, physically gifted and talented. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It's a perfect example. Like those are once in an era type people, right? If that's what is expected to happen, like someone dominant like that. Granted, Zion doesn't play center, but if you want somebody like that, you're barking up the wrong tree with that guy.
I think we're 10 years out from it, but I think it's going to happen again where we're going to have a Shaq-like player come into the league, and then the league is going to shift back to what it used to be, Michael, when me and you were growing up, where the ball went in first. I think it's going to shift back to that because right now, look, if Shaq was playing in today's era, it would be total annihilation, like just total annihilation, because he was so gifted. One more thing, forgive me, I just remembered the NBA is started a bogus tampering investigation into the Sixers, primarily with James Harden, which I applauded the move with him actually taking a pay cut so the Sixers could pay other free agents, aka PJ Tucker and a couple of other pieces. Josh, did you hear about this and what do you think
Yeah,
about it?
and I saw Jimmy's tweet, right? I don't know if you saw that right after PJ
No,
left.
I
He was
didn't.
like, you didn't? Oh, it was harsh. He was like, "Fuck you." Yeah, I'm bringing Joel into this. Like he pretty much did not. Yeah, he didn't like that move at all. Whether it was jokes or not, I mean, nobody in my because we all really wanted PJ to stay. However, that does open up the bank, open up pockets a little bit now. Depending on Pat Riley and get it done, this is not a heat conversation, but I like James Harden is. I had these arguments so much in the past 3 weeks. I'm so glad he's taking the money or take less money because it shows that he knows and he understands. And Joel even came out. He's not that guy anymore. You got your number one guy on live TV telling everybody in the world that you suck. We all saw that you suck. Your teammates didn't want to say it. Joel Embiid literally came out on the podium and said, he professionally said, you suck. You were not the
Tell
guy
us how
that we
you really
thought you
feel,
were.
bro.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, I mean, Kevin Durant didn't want to say it either when he left. He wanted to be nice about it. But yeah, I'm glad that he understands that I need to take a step back, in order for us to have a team, because I'm not Houston anymore. D'Antoni isn't building a system for me to have 30 a night anymore. So now I have to actually work within another role. So I'm glad he did that. I know they're bringing in some pieces. They got PJ. I didn't see anyone else. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see anyone else come up in there. There was another one. No. Okay. Well, they clearly need it because they're not the number 3 or 4. They might be the 4th in the East, but out of the top 3, it's not them anymore. So yeah, I'm glad. Right now it's Bucks, Heat, and Celtics right now. Those are the 3. They got to get over that. They can't get over that. There's no conversation here. So I'm glad he understands that.
Mike, what do you think about it?
Well, I mean, for me, I hate the whole tampering situation, period, because I don't fault a team. I can't fault a team for trying to put themselves in the best position possible to kind of know what's going to happen and try and find out, do maybe an investigation, have a conversation or two. What is it that you feel like you're going to do? What do you want? What is it that you want as the player? Because guess what? The power has shifted from the team to the players. It's been like that for 12 years, 15 years, right? Thanks, LeBron. But
it's changing. Change is coming. It's coming.
Oh yeah, it's coming back.
But right now, and we can see that change because now teams are adjusting to that in the sense of they're having these conversations on the side, they're having these plans, this, that, and the other, and the NBA wants to call it tampering. I call it putting yourself in the best position as a team. I want to know what's expected before it's supposed to happen so I can plan the best thing for my business. That's what this is, right? So, I mean, shit, trust me. What do I do? I understand for my business, for me wanting to sell my home, I go and understand the markets. The markets tell me what I need to happen or what needs to happen, right? So guess what? Is the government going to come back to me and say, oh, you were tampering with your own shit? No. No, I'm not. I'm putting myself in the best position possible to make the best opportunity for me. That's all that is. And the teams have adjusted to it. They've started doing it. It happens more often. They're taking these fines regardless, right? Fuck these fines. It is what it is. I'll pay for it because I still get my guys under contract. Come on now.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, I do see the shift coming back again at some point, but this is the start of it, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. Carry on.
Bryce, what say you?
I'll get my Kendrick Perkins on. Carry on.
I mean, I think we all know it's like in college ball, these coaches getting in trouble for like, gifting players shit or promising them things. Everybody knows this happens. I mean, if anybody should get charged for tampering, it should be LeBron James for all the conversations he has. Like,
Agreed.
Let's be real.
Agreed.
They're not really doing anything. The league has to, I think, pick and choose some of the glaring ones so that the rest of the owners don't get like furious or whatever. Or, there's people that don't like other teams and shit. So I think it's more of like a publicity thing on behalf of the NBA. Like, they're on the Heat sometimes. They've been on the Lakers before a little bit. I like just once in a while they have to call out some of these situations. So I'm not really like surprised because I mean there's all kinds of shenanigans around Harden all the time, and the way he left Brooklyn and everything, which is odd because for Harden to see the writing on the wall in Brooklyn and be like, I'm out of here. I mean, I don't know if anybody really wanted in there to begin with, like the other players. But I'm just saying it's definitely a shift the other way. Brooklyn was kind of like, I think, the ultimate experiment in player empowerment, and it imploded upon itself. So I think that the teams can't do that again. Yeah, they can't do that again. And no one wants to do that. So it's going the other way for James Harden to look at, it does take player accountability. Like Josh said, when Embiid is looking at you and be like, bro, you ain't got it. Like, you're the number 3. When you have a young guy like Maxey that doesn't even want to sit next to you, bro, you're in trouble. So it's either you're a joke and you're out of the league in a couple years, or you adapt, you take your pay cut, you come in shape, and you're ready to win a championship because that team can win a championship. You got to know your role. And for the first time, he seems to get it a little bit. And so if they want that team to work, all those guys have to come together. We talked about it to the chemistry with Boston earlier. Like, every team needs that. Every team has to have it if they want to really win a championship. All the best teams have it. LeBron's either it or Steph Curry is it. Every team has had it. Like Mike said, the softest rings ever go to Kevin Durant because he turned tail after getting beat and joined Steph Curry's team. That was Steph Curry's team. It's always going to be Steph Curry's team as long as he's there. And Durant doesn't bring that vibe with him anywhere he goes. If he went to Phoenix, that's not his team. He goes to Miami, that's not his team.
No way.
No, he doesn't have a team. And for Philly to be getting these tampering charges and for the Harden situation, like, it all just comes together to me as like a symbol of, things are shifting back the other way a little bit because Brooklyn just took it way too far. Durant and Kyrie took it way too far. And that's why I think Brooklyn's having a hard time getting anything back for them because they're just asking everything to get out of this situation that they dug themselves in. So if I'm Philly, I'm fine with the whatever. Look into it because everybody's doing it. We're trying to win a championship. I wouldn't care.
It's just business as usual.
Yeah,
that's it. So that's going to be it for this week's episode of the Hardwood Nation podcast. Again, thank you to Michael Franz and Sonny J, a.k.a. Joshua Sanders of Doubted Views. Fellas, tell the people where to find you at, please.
Who's going first?
Go ahead.
All right, I guess I'm going first because I'm already talking. All right, so again, you can find me Instagram, Twitter. I'm not talking about the other apps because we don't use those for business purposes only. So yeah, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter. I'm Sonny J. You find me at Doubted Views. I got Michael. Oh God, I got it wrong again. Michael, yeah, you got Michael. He's up with me on Finance Fridays and Mondays, and we got Shakeups coming on Wednesday as well. But you can find us there as well. So we're all over.
Yeah, please like, subscribe. Oh, sorry, Mike. I'm so sorry to cut you off, brother. Go ahead, brother.
You paid me back.
I'm sorry.
You can find me on Instagram, Michael Franz 0726, Twitter, McCartney 0726, Michael Franz on Facebook. I am now on Facebook. I finally joined the crew after 15, 20 years. So I'm there. But yeah, you can find me there. Holla at me, DM me. I always respond as much as I can. So I would love comments on here. John Doe, again, if you're there, holla at your boy.
Mike
Probably a new
wants all
account.
the smoke.
It'll be a new account that comes at you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
John Doe too.
It'll be Jane Doe.
Jane Doe. Yeah, I like
Jane Doe, yeah. It'll be Jane Doe, aka Karen. All right. So please like, subscribe, and share our content at the Hardwood Nation, as well as Doubted Views. And I just want to say one thing to my beautiful mother who celebrated her birthday a couple of weeks ago. Jimmy Butler, this message is for you. She loves your new luscious locks. Okay, so we're going to end it there. What's up, Bryce?
I guess that's one person. He's getting clowned.
So
hey, happy birthday to your moms.
Thank you, bro.
Happy birthday to moms. Yes.
Thank you, everybody, and we will see you next time.
See ya.